Hello. I want to address something that I don't think enough people are talking about. It's almost impossible to become a developer when you are working full time and you are trying to learn to code outside of your work hours. This has been true even before this market. It is really difficult to juggle this consistently for a long period of time. I usually recommend people who are going at it full time, learning to code full time, and they're serious about it, they're resourceful. I usually recommend give it 2 years and 3 months minimum before you are getting serious interviews or you are getting late stage interviews and you are really starting to become competitive. And that's average. I'm not saying you can't speed that up, but I'm just saying across the thousands of software engineers that I've mentored personally, this is what I've noticed. Doing this part-time, like learning to code part-time while you're working full-time, man, that is rough. That is difficult. And I think there are a lot of things there are a lot of challenges that come with that. But two in particular, one, you need to be consistent for a long period of time. It's very hard to be consistent for that long. But two, your knowledge starts fading. You can only do so much each week to learn new concepts, but also try to reinforce old concepts and try to be resourceful and clever enough to combine old concepts into new things that you're building while you're learning new stuff. You're not supposed to be perfect at that. No one is. And yet, that's what you're supposed to do. Because being a developer is a use it or lose it situation, and even foundational concepts that you're learning can fade away. You don't use all foundational concepts once you start niching down into something specific that you're trying to build. Sometimes you go a month or two without using something, and because you didn't need to. It makes sense, but you are just spreading out the amount of time and increasing the chances that that knowledge is going to fade away. It's just hard. Does that mean you can never grow while learning to code part-time? No, it's just harder. It takes a lot longer, and you're having to refresh on concepts more often than people that went full force, full time with it. So I say that because you need to give yourself a break and permission to not be getting competitive interviews right now, to not be making headway, to not be hitting your goals of finding a job this year. The goals are, well, I would argue you should aim for goals where you can actually control the actions that you can take to meet that goal, right? It shouldn't be outcomes based, because I think that can be very disappointing. But you need to give yourself a little bit of a break. You're going to forget a lot. And it's going to be very tempting to lean on AI slop to get you through. Holy shit, I cannot emphasize this enough. You are not at a stage where you should be listening to any content creator who's telling you to agentic or to lean on agentic coding to catch up, to be competitive. I cannot tell you how uncompetitive that makes you, how unmarketable that makes you. I want you to give yourself permission for this to take 3 to 4 years, if we're talking about self-taught. That sounds like a very long time, but now we are in a really shitty market. I don't think it's going to be like this forever, but the reality is none of us dev influencers can tell you what is going to happen in the future. We all make educated guesses, and we're all fucking wrong way too often. As a content creator, I am making fun of myself with this, but sometimes we just need to shut the fuck up with predictions. We know viewers want predictions, and if we make them feel good about those predictions and emotionally engaged in what we're saying, you are going to engage with the content longer and come back. So either we are going to tell you you are fucked and we're going to give you this black pill perspective, or we are going to, tuck you in at night and just give you a little kiss on the forehead and tell you everything is going to be okay. And you need to relax and give it time and you'll eventually blossom and become this amazing developer. Like, we're just trying to fucking capture your emotion. That's how we get engagement on YouTube. God, I have a whole rant. It's probably a separate video, but please stop putting influencers on pedestals. Most of the time, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. So hopefully you don't just have a favorite influencer that you're listening to blindly. Hopefully you're trying to aggregate some of this information. But even from people from my own community, I think I see a lot of people get very ambitious very quickly, and they get that motivation, they get that fire under their butt, and then it dies, because of course it dies. To have endless motivation is just unrealistic. It's not going to happen. And I think if you went into trying to become a developer because you were curious about it, you stopped asking the question, what language should I learn first? And you just picked up something and you built something. You tried something out, because your next step is to try something else out. That's one of the best ways to enter tech, to be curious and to not, how do I want to say this? To not make every single action you take of trying to grow as a developer and learn to code be what is going to make me the most marketable, what is going to make me stand out, what is going to get me a job. Because the people that continue to follow that path, and that as much of a linear path as possible, you are just a templated developer that is competing with so many other people, so many other templated developers who never really explored their curiosity, never really wanted to solve problems in tech. They just want to follow a templated path. Well, guess what? So does everyone else. How the fuck are you going to stand out by doing the same templated path every other developer does? Enjoy tech. Enjoy learning a new language. Enjoy getting more, slowing down with your project because you want to explore Vim. Maybe I'm projecting there. Maybe I need to do that. But just get lost in something stupid. All right? People in my community, they'll just finally ditch Windows, which I encourage everyone consider doing. But they'll ditch Windows and just be debugging Linux for a week straight. Yeah, they fell behind on their project work, but they learned a lot and they're having fun with it. And I want to see more people trying to break into tech having fun, getting curious, and exploring something that they find fascinating so much that they dive deep into it. They really explore the documentation. If you're learning a new language, or even if it's you want to learn 3JS or whatever, just spending a few months on something to dive deep enough and learn that thing and build something with it, even if it's a shit product or shit app or project, you're still going to grow significantly from being obsessed with something like that. That obsession is what I find that a lot of experienced developers had at some point. They just kept diving deeper and deeper and deeper into something. I think there's a certain point, if it's not marketable, you might need to cut yourself off, but it doesn't mean you can't find significant growth in that type of exploration with tech. And not everyone needs to become a developer. I say this all the time. I don't know why. Fuck, the industry is so weird right now. I don't even know why. If you don't really enjoy coding, I don't know why the fuck you're trying to become a developer. This is not a get-rich-quick solution. It never was, and it's so We're so much further from that even being a possibility at this point. Like there's so many opportunities in tech that maybe you would enjoy enough to dive deep enough for long enough. And when you get home from 40 hours of work, you spend some time with your spouse, you spend some time with your kids, and then you love what you're doing so much that you get lost in it for a couple of hours. Every other day, 3 times a week. You find that path, you find that interest in tech. That's what a lot of people who have been in tech found a long time ago that I think we're losing in this new weird AI era. But that's for another video. It's a whole other conversation. Please give yourself permission for this to take a very long time.